master.
Rise.
What is up, guys? Arcade here, bringing you all my review of Dark Souls 3. Now that I've finally gotten a good amount of time playing the game, thought I'd throw out my own opinion out there, my own review of the game. Starting things off with the character creation, I think Dark Souls as a series has always had a pretty solid character creation. It's very in-depth. However, the character models themselves, well, graphically they look the same as they did back in the first Dark Souls game, which I assume isn't From Software's focus with graphics, and I'm sure the core community of the Dark Souls fan base is fine with that. But for me, though, it's in an RPG, character models are important, an important part of the RPG experience in 2016. So I expect the character model to look better than it did 5 years ago. Now that might come off as harsh, but that is a merely narrow comment on the game's visuals. It isn't the full thing. The landscape of this game is gorgeous. Now this is one of the best visual games I've seen in terms of landscape. The environment looks amazing. A lot of the viewpoints are astonishing. There are a lot of moments in this game where you just stop and look around just to gawk at and take in the amazement of the Gothic style churches, the castles, and it's just captivating. The environment is literally just captivating. You want to stop and just look at it. And the detailing, not just the armor you can find yourself, but the armor and clothing of the enemies, well, you see, are all great. Like there's a lot of detail in this game. Now, leaving the graphics discussion and getting into the mechanics of the game, you can tell they borrow from Bloodborne a bit with this one. A lot of the enemies now have this sweet little soft spot where you can perform something like an execution move. But even visually, there is some Bloodborne there as well, in the visuals. Outside of that, the controls mechanics of the game aren't any different from the previous Souls games, which some people might not like. And some people, they love it that way. They love that they didn't change it up. I know some people aren't in favor of weird controls, but I think games like this and games like The Witcher have weird controls on purpose. The purpose of having these controls in games like Ninja Gaiden, The Witcher, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, any of these difficult games, the reason why they have these weird controls is because it's part of the game. It adds to the difficulty of the game. All hard games have weird controls on purpose. It's the same reason why classics like Resident Evil had bad camera angles. And that's why the new ones, the remakes of Resident Evil, have bad camera angles. It adds to the experience of the game. It's what the creators of the games want with these games, to give you the difficulty that you will experience. Like Resident Evil, bad camera angles add to the horror. Difficulty games like Ninja Gaiden, Witcher, and Bloodborne, Dark Souls, bad controls help to the difficulty of the game. I know I'm getting off topic, bear with me. Continuing to talk about difficulty, I think this game is a bit easier than previous Souls games. I recall leading up to launch of this Souls game, everybody in the gaming media was like, this game is going to be the hardest Dark Souls game of all time. It's harder than any Dark Souls game. It's taking the game back to its roots. It's going to be on a rival Demon Souls. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think this game comes anywhere near Demon Souls in terms of difficulty. I don't even think it comes near Dark Souls 1 comes difficulty. Dark Souls 1 for me was a hard game. I didn't play Demon Souls, but Dark Souls 1 was hard. It was a very difficult game for me. I didn't even beat it. That is the only RPG I never beat outside of Oblivion, but I didn't beat Oblivion because I thought that game sucked. So it wasn't a difficulty thing, it was just that game just wasn't good to me. But Dark Souls 1 was hard. Hard enough to not even want to play it anymore. Now, it might be because at that time I wasn't too into learning how to play the game, learning how to play Dark Souls. Now I know how to play Dark Souls, so maybe if I went back, it would be to Dark Souls 1, it would be easier time for me. But even still, I don't think Dark Souls 3 is easy. Is easy just because I suffered from Dark Souls 1. I think this game is easy because From Software dumbed it down. There are a lot of holes in the bosses. You can hack and slash in this game. You couldn't hack and slash in the first Souls games. Now, a clip you'll see in this video, you see me luring enemies away when, spoiler, I died against the little sorceress lady, so I had to redo that part, and I didn't lure them. Instead, I just walked up to them, the entire group, and just attacked all of them. And I hacked and slash with no problem. You couldn't do that in the previous Souls games. It's not that I'm better now than I was 5 years ago, it's just that the game is dumbed down. And it's probably dumbed down so more people can actually play it. And I hate that, but it's understandable. From a business point of view, it's understandable. You want more people playing your game, so you gotta make it a little bit more easy. It's still a semi-hard game, don't get me wrong, but it's easier than previous games. Overall, I think this is a solid game. It's fun. There isn't a lot of story to it, which is usually what generates fun in RPG story. But this game's story isn't really there. I'm not sure if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but even without it, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Each day I play it more and more and more. It's enjoyable. The boss fights are fun, and I failed during them a lot. But even when I fail against a boss, I just go back over there and fight him again. No, it's perfectly fine. This game doesn't knock you down and go, alright, well, I'm not going to beat this at all. No, when it knocks you down, you want to play it some more. That's what's enjoyable about it. The biggest flaw, in my opinion, is the ability for other players to just randomly show up in your game and attempt to fight you. I know this PvP aspect has always been part of Dark Souls, but I think it's a flaw. PvP isn't a problem. I think if Dark Souls players want to test themselves against other players, then they should have that option. But the only way PvP should have it is if both parties involved want it to happen. Just as the only way someone can help you with a game is with summoning marks on the ground, it should be the same with PvP. The only way someone should be able to help to get into a PvP game with you is if you accept an invite from them, or if you click on the purple summoning on the ground. Now, some people just want to do single player, okay? That's what I'm trying to get here. Some people just want to do the single player of the game. They don't want to do anything PvE. They want to break from all the multiplayer that's being shoved down our throats on a normal basis. So they play games like this just to take a break from multiplayer. And that is kind of game breaking to where you're trying to enjoy the game, you're minding your own business, and all of a sudden there's some purple motherfucker running at you. You know, I know what a lot of you might be saying, well, play offline. Well, if you play offline, you miss out on a key feature in Dark Souls, which is the ability of other players to warn you of things with messages on the ground. But you can't see those messages if you're offline, and that's a key part of Dark Souls. That's a key part of seeing those messages on the ground saying praise the sun, or hey, enemy ahead, hey, ambush ahead, hey, big fatty ahead, hey, boss fight coming. You won't be able to see those if you're playing offline. So just fix it, the PvP, to where the only way people can get into your game is if there's a summoning mark on the ground and you accept their summoning. If I was to give Dark Souls 3 a score, it'd be an 8 out of 10. It's a solid game worth playing, but there could have been, you know, some improvements, and PvP flaw isn't an annoying one. I would recommend, if you want to play a harder game, play Lords of the Fallen. It's a very good game. I think it's better than Dark Souls 3. Also, go back to play the Dark Souls games. You know, if you haven't played Dark Souls 1 or 2 or Demon Souls, go back and play those. You owe it to yourself to play those games. Hell, go play Bloodborne if you didn't play Bloodborne. That's my review, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all have a good day. Peace out.